Okay, I'm now recording. You're all being recorded. Just making sure that's on record. Okay. Let's go.
So first, I just want to start out with just having everybody introduce themselves. We're all going to be working together over the 10-week campaign, and so it'd be a really great chance because we have a bunch of new faces on this call. So let's introduce ourselves with your name, say how you are currently involved in Best Buddies or how you've been involved in Best Buddies in the past, and then maybe a fun hot weather thing that you did over the weekend or planning to do this week. So again, I'm Molly. I have been in Best Buddies for 9 years now, all the way from my high school years until now. I was the first chapter president of a chapter in Washington. And this past weekend, I went to Olympia to visit the state capitol because I had never been there before. And there was no one there. It was completely empty and it was like 95 degrees. But it was really fun. Audra, would you like to go next?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I said Audra, but Ramu, you can go.
Okay. Hi, I'm Ramu Iyer, and I'm in the Citizens Program at Best Buddies. I have a buddy whom I support. His name is Steve. I joined Best Buddies in February, and I'm really enjoying meeting all the people in the community and in the network. Last weekend, I walked the Sammamish Trail with my wife, and however, the weather was very hot, so that was a bummer, but it was still a good workout. This week, I'm going to make myself useful and spend less time on Zoom.
Nice. Great goal.
I'm going to stop sharing for this part so that we can all see each other.
We can all see each other. Awesome. Mary Kylie, are you able to go? Is someone talking? Is it just me that can't hear people?
No, she might be working.
Oh my God. Okay,
she's probably
that's fine.
Double timing.
I will introduce Mary Kylie. Mary Kylie is one of the co-event chair committee folks. She has been in Best Buddies for I think 2 or 3 years now. She works until 8 p.m. every night, and so she's probably working right now. But she was a champion last year for Best Buddies, and she is great. I don't know what she did in the hot weather, but I bet she did something super fun. Awesome. Andrea, would you like to go?
Sure. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late, but it sounds like we're doing some intros. So my name's Andrea. I've been in Seattle 3 years now almost. I'm part of the Best Buddies board since, and I also used to work for Best Buddies for about 4.5 years and was a champion last year. So super excited to be a champion again.
Have you done any fun hot weather activities?
I don't know if I would call it fun, but we did a 2-day camping trip in Mount Rainier this weekend, which was hard and amazing. We did about 30 miles, so can't move today.
Yeah, I can't even think about doing that.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome. Okay, Audra Daniels, now would you like to go?
Yeah, I'm Audra. I am also on the board for Best Buddies Washington, and I am supporting Eric. He's our champion, and I'm going to be his campaign manager this year. Super excited. And let's see, my fun hot weather activity, I went up to Whidbey this weekend, which was really lovely, and just got out, sat on the beach, still while walking around, was really fun.
Awesome. All right, Eric Mathis, would you like to go?
Sure. I'm Eric Mathis. I've been involved with Best Buddies International for many years, and when I was living in Utah for many years, I have been involved with the Best Buddies there, and I got paired with a buddy, which I do talk to still off and on. and came to Washington and been involved in Best Buddies events online, on Zoom and movie nights, off and on. Been super busy with my job that I currently have, and I'm thinking about um, doing the citizen program at some point for the state of Washington Best Buddies, and I'm just super excited to possibly be the champion of the year. But as a team player, whoever wins or loses is still a winner in my eyes. And I see myself more as a mentor. Summer event or thing that I have done lately is this last weekend. My dad barbecued chicken, which was fantastic, and my mom and my dad just recently found and bought a brand new cat, which is like a small kitten now, and it's a boy cat, and so I'm a brother to this cat, and I like to go over to my parents' house and play with it a lot, and just really enjoy doing that.
Awesome. I love that. Eric was actually the first person that I met in Washington who had also been a part of Best Buddies. So I'm very happy to see you involved now. That is so great.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, Dina, how about you go next?
Hello, everybody. So I'm probably the newest person to Best Buddies. So my daughter Lauren Johnson, she lives in Washington, and she was paired up with Amber up in the state of Washington, and I actually live in Colorado. And so, you know, we kind of do this long distance Best Buddy thing. Lauren and Amber are pretty independent, and they get together and they connect, and they do a really great job connecting together. My goal for Best Buddies is to, with my network, so I have a pretty big network, big social media presence, and so my goal is to bring more awareness and raise money for Best Buddies, because I see, you know, how great it has been for my daughter, and I just want more people to be able to experience what she's been experiencing. And you know, it's so hard for kids, you know, young adults with special needs to really develop and get out into the community, and especially, you know, Lauren lives all by herself in her own apartment, and you know, so to get out in the community can be really challenging, and so having a Best Buddy has really opened up her world into just doing a lot more things in the community. And so my goal to be involved with Best Buddies is to really bring more awareness to the chapter and hopefully raise a lot more money for the chapter. So that's why I'm here. And I wanted to also mention, you know, Audra said that she spent the weekend on Whidbey. We lived on Whidbey Island for 18 years, so we know how beautiful it is there. And we did a lot of crabbing on Whidbey Island, and Lauren's actually going crabbing this weekend with her dad. And so I'm sure she's going to have a lot of fun in the sun crabbing just off Whidbey Island. So that's kind of where I come from.
Nice.
I love that. Great. All right. And Erica, do you want to finish out and introduce yourself?
Yeah. I know all of you, I've met all of you, but I'm Erica, the Director of Mission Advancement for Best Buddies in Washington. And I am very excited for our Champion of the Year event this year, even though we are doing it virtually. Molly and our event planning committee have come up with an incredible lineup of events and an incredible way to make this virtual event as engaging and mission-centric as possible. So I'm just super thrilled. It's gonna be awesome. And Molly will be sharing all of that with you in just a moment. My fun summer thing is this isn't really summer related, but I'm gonna steal or go off of Eric's about his parents getting a new cat. We Tommy, my partner, and I live with, his sister lives with us, and she's getting a cat this weekend. So we're going to have a new furry friend in the house that I'm very excited about.
Awesome.
So many big things happening for you.
I know.
Awesome. Mary Kylie, did you want to introduce yourself now that you're able to speak?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, yes. My name is Mary Kylie. I go by 2 first names, and I am excited to be a champion again. This is really cool. Was the question like summer plans?
Yeah, like fun hot weather things.
I have an inflatable kayak that I got last year. It was like $40, hot tip for everyone. That is not bad. It's pretty good. Like, it's not as good as a real kayak, but it is pretty good. So I'm gonna go kayak at some point. So I'm very excited. I did it a lot last summer. I think quarantine has just made me a lot less active, where I'm like, oh, am I gonna go out and do an activity? That seems like a lot, but eventually I'll do it and remember that I like it.
Love it. Got to do it on Green Lake. That'll be great. Okay, cool. Let's get started into our training. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of an overview about the history of Best Buddies and just generally what we are, even though most of you probably know. But Best Buddies is an international nonprofit. We are a 501c3 organization, and we are dedicated to establishing a global volunteer movement that creates opportunities for one-to-one friendship, integrated employment, leadership development, and now inclusive living for individuals with IED. We were founded by Anthony Kennedy Shriver, who is pictured at the bottom right. He is related to JFK and Eunice Kennedy Shriver. Their family has ties with Special Olympics. Tim Shriver, his brother, is the head of Special Olympics. And so they're just an all-around inclusive family, and he does a lot of speeches and a lot of work with Best Buddies. He headed our friendship walk this past year, the virtual friendship walk. That was a really interesting and fun time. You can definitely see him being super active in the mission. So that's kind of the background of, you know, the broader organization, but our programs, they manifest differently in each state depending on budget and how long the state has been around. But the full swath of our program is that we have our one-to-one friendship programs, which consist of programs at elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, at colleges, and then we have our adult citizens program, which is adults matched into one-to-one friendships. We have our integrated employment, where we match with employers and work on placing people in meaningful jobs. We also have a leadership development component. We have hosted several ambassador trainings, virtual and in person, in Washington State, and have several state ambassadors who have been trained in public speaking and trained to deliver their message about Best Buddies and just be really powerful advocates. And we also are launching an inclusive living initiative. So there are currently, I think, 2 cities that are a part of this. And the programs are very, very new, but the houses are really nice looking. And if you go on Best Buddies Instagram, they did a whole tour of the inclusive living houses. There is a series of them in Los Angeles, and then I think that there are some in Washington, D.C. now. If I'm not wrong, Erica, I'm pretty sure that's where they are. So yeah, Best Buddies really touches on a lot of different areas. And we in this state specifically have only 3 of those programs, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I just wanted to highlight for you guys the reach of Best Buddies programs. I think sometimes when you're operating in a state that's fairly new, you don't get to see how wide the reach of Best Buddies is. So we're active in 6 continents, 56 active countries, and we are active in all 50 states, though there are not state offices located in all 50 states. And just kind of going through the numbers at the bottom, you can see, you know, our programs are really expansive, and we have a lot of chapters at all 3 levels throughout the country. And we also have an eBuddies platform that allows people to kind of do like an emailing friendship. So we have a really wide reach. We have it in multiple ways across the United States. And I'll get into a little bit more about the specifics that we have for our programs here when we talk about the structure of the event. So the Champion of the Year event is a fundraiser, first and foremost. And so just to give a little bit of transparency, when you guys are fundraising, we want you to know exactly where that money is going to go. So 83% of the money that we fundraise goes to right back into our programs, particularly our program expansion and attempting to open and expand the current types of programs that we have in the state. 12% goes back into our fundraising budget so that we can continue to put on really high quality events that engage donors and allow us just this cycle of fundraising. And then 5% goes into our administration. And so that's wonderful, lovely Erica, who runs all things Best Buddies in the state. So now I want to break down the event. We're gonna kind of go through a who, what, when, where, and how structure. And again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to stop me along the way. I know I talk a little bit fast sometimes. So yeah.
You're doing great.
Thank you. So who and what? The Best Buddies Champion of the Year event is a 10-week campaign to fundraise and spread the mission of Best Buddies. This year, it will end in a week-long series of events and celebrations that centers all of you guys. That picture at the bottom is from last year's Champion of the Year event. My old buddy Devin and I were paired together, and the night was really wonderful and really just like got all of us together to celebrate the champions. And we're going to make sure that that still manifests in the structure of our event this year. We want to celebrate you guys and the work that you're doing and give you a chance to really spread your message. So let me explain the event that I'm super excited about, because it literally, the idea for it came to me in the middle of the night, and I texted Erica and I was like, I'm so excited about this. So the programs that we currently have in the state are our one-to-one friendship programs. We are working on getting an integrated employment program, and we have our leadership development, so our ambassador training. And what we're going to be doing is we have a series of events that are all going to be focusing on those various pillars. So the event will kick off on Sunday night on October 18th, and it's going to start with a virtual friendship concert. And this is going to center the mission of our school chapters, so our colleges and our high schools, which are the only types of schools that we currently have with chapters in this state. We are going to tell people all about those programs, highlight our buddy pairs, highlight our wonderful student leaders, and just really kick off the week with a really energetic performance from musicians who are both in our programs and are supportive of our programs. Then on Monday, we're not going to have an event, but rather we're just going to have a day where we try and disseminate a lot of information to explain how the structure of the week is going to occur. We are going to have a week-long silent auction that's going to be 100% virtual. And so we're going to explain how to use our auction software, how people can participate in the silent auction, how people can participate in the nightly events. And we're going to start highlighting our champions. This is something that we're going to do every single day, where we are going to give you guys the opportunity to speak about yourselves, speak about why the mission of Best Buddies has really touched you, and speak about your campaign and what you're doing to raise awareness for Best Buddies. So that's the kind of information setting up the weekday. Our Tuesday event is a trivia night, which is going to be highlighting our Citizens program. It's actually going to be run by Mary Kiley, who is a part of our Citizens program. And it's going to be a free virtual, or if we're really lucky, in person, but probably not, trivia night hosted by a local brewery that we partner with. And we're going to give testimonials from our Citizens programs, ask people to get involved, and make an ask for fundraising that night. On Wednesday, we are going to have a virtual wine tasting that will be a ticketed event. So we'll be selling tickets for that ahead of time. And that entire night is going to be highlighting our jobs program. We do not currently have a jobs program, but we're going to be giving very clear information on what we need to launch a jobs program, what that will look like in our state, and what it has done for people all throughout the country. And Thursday, I'm really excited to reintroduce an event that I created at Seattle University called Buddy Talks. And so this is a TED Talk style event that will be hosted to highlight our ambassador program. We have, I have no idea how many state ambassadors we currently have right now because the leadership conference just happened. So a bunch of people just got trained. But we have a bunch of ambassadors in the state from our chapters and from our citizens program. And so this night is going to highlight them, and we're going to let them tell their stories and talk about inclusion. And Friday night is going to be a really fun, just sort of 45-minute wrap up of the entire week. We are going to have a really wonderful professionally made video that highlights all of our champions, the work that everyone has been doing throughout the week. We're going to have some speeches from our buddy pairs and our ambassadors. And we are kind of going to finish up the night by making sure everyone knows that the silent auction is ending and making one final ask for people to donate to our programs. Throughout the entire week, we are going to have a text to give option. So people will be able at any point to just text a number and donate. So if they're at any event, they will get that chance to participate. Hi, Lorena.
Hi. Sorry I'm late.
No, that is okay. We also are recording as well, so you can definitely go back and watch the beginning.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So that is the schedule of events. I'm really excited about the structure. I think what Best Buddies Washington does best is center our programs and center the mission and center our participants, who are so awesome. And I really think that we'll be able to do this at all of these events. The really great part is that most of these events could be held in person at the last minute if we were able to do so safely. So we're completely prepared to be able to do that. We want people to congregate, but we also want to comply with state and local guidelines and make sure that we're able to do everything safely. So we will keep you guys updated on that and make a final decision as we get closer to October.
Molly, Dana has a question.
Yes, Dana, what is your question?
I think you just answered it. So this is the schedule of events for October, right? Is that the October 13th, like through the
18th to the 23rd?
18th to the 23rd. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have a slide with all of the dates in just a second.
Oh.
Okay. Okay, good.
There it is. So our 10-week campaign kicks off on August 12th. And so that is when you guys are going to formally start fundraising. We are going to have a virtual kickoff event that you guys can watch via YouTube, and that we will just be celebrating you guys, letting everyone know what's going on. And then that'll begin your series of fundraising. I'm going to explain how that's going to work a little later. And then on the 18th of October is when we're going to start this formal event. So you guys can be fundraising throughout the entirety of the time and during that last week. And that, I think, is when a lot of the funds really get generated, just because there's so many events for people to be able to attend and really be personally impacted by our mission. I also totally recognize that a virtual event is not the most inclusive for everybody, because everybody has different levels of ability when it comes to using various forms of technology. And so I am going to be holding technology trainings on August 7th, 8th, and 9th. They're going to be, the August 7th is going to be really, really basic technology training. 8th is going to be more about how to craft a social media campaign. And the 9th is going to be talking about some more advanced, like, branding on social media and various things like that.
I have a question. Sorry to interrupt you, Molly, but what are the times for the technology training? I see the dates, but what about the timing of it?
Yeah, I'm going to send out a doodle poll.
Oh,
Best Buddies is not my full-time job, and so I have some work things that are pending next week. So I'm going to send out a doodle poll probably after this meeting and get what a good time would be for most people who are interested in attending, and then I will post those times. I am also completely available if anyone would like to do a more one-on-one session. I know, people might have really specific questions. That's absolutely okay. I support the Best Buddies Instagram and Facebook presence, and so I'm very well versed in how to use social media to drive fundraising. And so if anyone needs support in that area, absolutely let me know, and we can work on a little bit more individualized stuff as well. All right. So where is this happening? We have gone virtual. We are going to do a mixture of different types of events. So a lot of our events will be live streamed, and we're not going to use a Facebook live stream like we have been for the Friendship Walk. We're going to do it through YouTube because that's more accessible for people who don't use social media. And we are going to be hosting, I think, the wine tasting, the trivia night, and possibly our Buddy Talks event will all be in Zoom, and there'll be Zoom events so that people can talk to each other. Our Zoom events that we have hosted thus far have been really successful. Our Facebook Live events, including our Friendship Walk, we just honestly have really knocked it out of the park in terms of engagement and how impactful and how much money we were able to raise with those events. So I am fully confident that we're going to be able to carry that mission out, in this modality. And again, I will absolutely help people and support you guys with technology and social media training. I also am able to support people with graphic design if you would like help or support with that. So please just ask me for anything that you need. I already do all of it anyways for Best Buddies Washington, and so I'm happy to help you guys out so you can be the most successful that you can be.
oh, that's cool.
All right, so now let's talk about how this is going to happen. I have learned a lot in the past year working with Best Buddies as a volunteer, and also I've learned a lot through my champion campaign. My buddy Devin and I raised over $30,000 last year for Best Buddies Washington, and so I am going to use the framework of SMART goals to help you guys understand what we're expecting of you in terms of goal setting and in terms of fundraising, and how we're able to support you through that. So the first part of setting your goal is to be specific. And a lot of people have come and asked about, how much money you're expected to raise. Typically in past years, champions have been expected to raise $5,000, but obviously that is not going to be applied to this year for a whole host of reasons. A virtual event is much harder to do fundraising for, not being able to have the incentive of getting people to buy tickets to come to an actual physical in-person dinner dining experience prevents a lot of engagement. And COVID-19 has affected everybody's financial situation differently. And so we want you guys to know that we are not just asking you to raise money for Best Buddies, we're asking you to contribute a significant portion to you. So what would a significant impact be to you? And that's not just financially either. That's the effects that you want to have on your community. So Dana was talking about, impacting her social media network and really raising awareness because she wants these programs to be accessible to other people. And I think that is an absolutely wonderful goal. That is the point of the champion model, is that you guys all have different networks. You guys all come from different places geographically. And so we are able to extend the message of Best Buddies through you to as many people as we possibly can.
Hey, Molly, I have a question. If it's possible, after we're done going through this, if you could email this PowerPoint so I
Yeah.
can look at it, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Erica, can you go to the next slide? Awesome. So the second thing is to make your goal measurable. And this, I think, was one of the most important things that I learned throughout my campaign. It's not just about making your goal measurable for yourself, but also making your goal measurable for the people who are donating to you. I'm going to give you guys an example later on of how I updated people on my progress financially, and also my progress, you know, in terms of my impact. And it became a really, you know, a sort of community effort of all my friends and all my supporters who continue to want me to reach my goal. So there's a lot of different ways that you can track that progress on Facebook. You can do it even via email, through, you know, update letters and or videos that you create to let people know what you're doing. It is, you know, 10 weeks seems like a long time, but it'll go by really, really fast. And so keeping your network engaged and letting them know where you're at and documenting that also lets you look back at it and see how much progress you've made, which is really fun and exciting. The third thing is to be attainable. And so this kind of echoes back to what we were talking about. You know, everyone was impacted by COVID-19 differently, and your networks and the people that you may have wanted to reach out to have all been impacted differently. And so I really want everyone to think about what you can accomplish in a 10-week period, and to come to us, obviously privately after this training, and really articulate a clear goal to us on what you want to do with your campaign. And if you don't reach your goal, that is absolutely okay. Even last year when we, you know, set a more firm commitment of $5,000, we had people who didn't reach their goals, and that's fine, because I think the impact goal is a little bit more important to me, at least, because that's what builds long-term donors. That's what builds future donors, is creating that impact, taking your experience in Best Buddies and showing everybody else. That's how we grow. This kind of, it says basically the same thing, is what is a significant fundraising amount for you? And also what is important about the Best Buddies mission, and what, you know, in those different programs that we talked about, what's important for you to share? I know, you know, for me, the school programs and the friendship programs are really what move me the most. My friendship with my buddy is what it really drives me to move forward with Best Buddies. I know Andrea is particularly passionate about the jobs program because she's had a lot of experience in that. And so maybe that's her focus, is talking about, you know, what she's seen the jobs program do for other people and how the jobs program could manifest in Seattle. I really want you guys to think about your narrative in Best Buddies, and think about what different parts of those programs and of those different mission aspects, what part speaks to you, what part can you personally attest to, and share with other people so that they can get that really, really personal experience, and sort of feel the mission kind of flowing through you guys. Time-based is the next factor. And so we only have 10 weeks. That is a very, very fast time. The last week when there's going to be all sorts of events, that's going to go by in the blink of an eye. And so what's really important is to be as prepared as possible. We're going to talk about a few concrete ways that you guys can start looking to set up your campaigns so that you can be successful and have some sort of seeds planted, so that during that last week, you might get a lot more engagement in terms of dollars. We have, you know, the auction that you guys can participate in, and sponsorships is a really huge thing. And those are things that don't require a lot of work during the last week, but things that you can start engaging with now and start thinking about now, that will raise you a lot of money in that little last stretch. So really keep in mind that 10-week mark, and really think about, again, what is attainable for you and what's reasonable for you in that time period. Awesome. So we have a bunch of tools for you guys to use. I really wanted to make it as easy as possible for you guys to navigate this virtual environment, and also if you guys can navigate the campaign as well. Erica, could you actually open up the Champion Toolkit, if that would be okay?
Yes, just a second. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, so our Champion Toolkit is a series of virtual resources that you guys can use either to share information with people or to plan your campaign. Some of them were provided by Best Buddies, some of them were created specifically by me and Erica, but all of them are there for the purpose of making reaching out to people, communicating to people as easy as possible. We gave you all the wording, we gave you all the beautiful designed PDFs, and we're hoping that that is going to kind of elevate your guys' campaign. So in the official documents, we have a few things that you guys might need in reaching out to people. We have our official logo. We have a mission overview and a programs overview, and those are official Best Buddies documents that they use when they're reaching out to their networks. And then we also have our 501c3 because sometimes people like to see that tax information when you're reaching out to them as well. If you go into the fundraising materials, we have a lot of things. So I have constructed social media templates and email templates that give you guys the exact wording that you need to be able to post on your Facebook. And the highlighted portions are where you guys obviously will need to fill in the information. So a lot of them, I kind of set it up and it leaves a space for you guys to tell your story and talk about your individual experiences in Best Buddies. And I think that that's the most important part, is taking the time to really customize that and making it impactful to the people that you know. It also has all of our different social media accounts and all of the hashtags that we use. Those will be updated as we move more toward the event and I come up with a little bit more of a focused social media brand. But all of these, the email one as well, they have suggested documents for you guys to attach to those emails, and that are all located in this toolkit. And they tell you who to CC in case you don't want to have conversations with donors. If you want to just, kind of queue it up and CC me and Erica in an email, I am more than happy to talk to people for you if you want to make that introduction. And so all of this is totally copy and pasteable, and it's super easy. And we, our board has given us a lot of feedback on the things that make it easiest for them to reach out to people. And so we wanted to give you guys that. We also have our silent auction donation request letter, which kind of has the same format, highlighted portions for you guys to fill in. And we have a silent auction procurement form. Those are particularly important because they give us the information that we need to put into our website for our silent auction. So the value of the item and contact information for the people who are giving us the item. That's kind of where that comes from. Yeah, all of these are in like Google Docs Word format. So if anyone would like support with downloading them into PDFs or learning how to attach them to emails, I can absolutely help you out with that.
That would be great.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people interested in that. So I can definitely, that's what I think the first technology training is going to be about, is how do you navigate this Google Drive? How do you download things from it? How do you attach it to your emails or to your Facebook? How do you set up a Facebook? Like all those various things can be put into that training, and it's kind of going to be driven by you guys and the questions that you have, I think, for that start, just because everybody's at a sort of different baseline. The champion planning has, which is where you just were, Erica, sorry. It has documents that, it has that document, which is the campaign brainstorming sheet. You guys can kind of navigate that on your own. It's something that Best Buddies International provides, and it gives you just a sort of breakdown week by week on how you're going to target different facets for your campaign.
Wow.
So,
that's a lot.
wow. Yeah, I worked really hard on it.
You're amazing.
Um,
That's great.
Yeah, I just, I want you guys, I don't want there to be any barriers for you guys in reaching out to people. I don't want there to be any barriers for you guys. Time-wise, I know you all have your own jobs, your own lives, and you are choosing to volunteer for us, and that is absolutely amazing. And so I want to make it as easy as possible. The campaign planner is a pretty useful tool if you're a person who likes to do things more visually. I really suggest you and your campaign manager or you individually kind of take time to sit down and fill it out. It has all the different ways that you can, utilize the opportunities that we have for fundraising, and it can kind of break down your goal into smaller, more measurable, and attainable increments. So let's go to the next one. I think we're gonna skip this because I talk too much. And
But Molly,
That's okay.
but we can put the sphere of influence template in the champion planning folder. It's basically an activity where it guides you through mapping out your network and who you may want to reach out to for auction items or for donations or for sponsorship. So we will update the champion planning folder before we send out the link to the toolkit, and the sphere of influence activity will be in there.
Awesome. All right, so let's talk about 2 ways that you can kind of plant that seed for that last week to set yourself up for success. And it's one of the easiest ways to raise money is by participating in our auction. So if you were a champion last year, we're doing it a little bit differently this year. We have sets of preset packages of auction items that you can purchase or procure, and we have already kind of crafted our packages strategically, but based on what people are able to use right now. And so we're going to be sending that out to everyone. And if you want to sign up for one of those packages, then you can absolutely attain those items however you would like to. And then at the auction, however much money is raised off of that item will then go to your campaign. Last year, our auction raised over $10,000. And so it was a really huge chunk of a lot of people's campaigns was getting these auction packages. I'm also 100% open if people have ideas for packages that they want to put together based on opportunities that you may have. If you work for a company or somebody who makes a really cool thing, please just go ahead and email me. It's just last year we kind of got a hodgepodge of a bunch of different things and nothing was really put together, and it was a little difficult to create meaningful packages that people would really, really want. And I also want to make sure that things, as far as like tickets and things, people will actually be able to use them because it's just very weird right now.
And one other note on auction items, as you're thinking about things that may either be on the list that Molly will send or things that you may want to propose as auction items, it does not have to be a physical item. It can be like some things that have been really successful in online auctions recently are like, if you know a pro athlete and you could get them to commit to a 15-minute Zoom call, as an auction item, those have been really successful. If you know a chef who would be willing to do an online cooking class, things like that have been really successful in auctions, particularly recently, and it does not have to be a physical item.
Cool.
Yeah. Also, because we're in Washington too, rentals for outdoor activities that people could do while socially distancing, bike rentals, paddleboard rentals, boat rentals, all those things, super awesome as well. The other thing that we are doing this year a little bit differently is how we're dealing with our sponsors. So our goal is that every night we will go into each night with a matching donation already procured. So that's what we're going to be using our sponsor dollars for. And our hope is to have at least $5,000 every single night. Our sponsorship levels, we are working on having a full sponsorship deck that you can send out to people who might be interested, and they range from $10,000 all the way down to, you know, like $500. And so there's different ways that you can approach it. Champions are also able to be a matching sponsor. So I know my partner and I, we feel really strongly about the ambassador program. And so we are going to contribute to that night as a matching sponsor. And obviously I don't run a business or anything, so I'm not going to utilize most of the privileges. But there's opportunities for sponsors to really get their message out by providing a video that'll be played at the beginning of the event. Their logo can be placed in, you know, the corner of the screen during the event. We're working on a couple more incentives like virtual goodie bags, things like that, that will give sponsors a real incentive to get their products out, get their message out, and still support, you know, one of those pillars that they really resonate with. I am heading all of the sponsorships this year, so if anybody has any questions, or if you work for a company or know a company that would like to be involved, we can absolutely talk about how we can customize the experience to best fit their needs and our needs as well. So you can just go ahead and shoot me an email and connect me with them, and I'm more than happy to have that conversation.
And as a champion, any sponsorships that you obtain or procure, the total amount of that sponsorship will go towards your champion fundraising total. So if you get a $5,000 sponsorship, that $5,000 goes towards your fundraising total.
Cool.
So the next thing I think that is the most important thing to talk about, even though we don't have that much time, is how to make the ask. So the first thing is that I really want to emphasize that your ask should be mission driven. Telling people about your specific experience, telling them exactly what their money will accomplish really resonates with people and makes your story a lot more impactful. There's also ways for you guys to have a lot of fun with this campaign. Getting virtual rewards for getting closer to your goal, giving shout outs to people on social media in various different ways. All of those are really, you know, engaging your audience, and they're also super fun to participate in. I'm going to talk about in a second what I did with my campaign last year and what I'm planning to do this year. The last part is updating people on your progress. Once someone donates to your campaign, they're a stakeholder in your success in Best Buddies. So I have a network of people that really love seeing my social media posts, or really love getting texts from me, letting them know how we succeeded, not only with the Champion of the Year campaign, but with the Friendship Walk, but with our programs. All of these various things have now joined me on this journey of, you know, expanding Best Buddies. And that there's a lot of different ways that can come out. You can do a video, you know, once a week. You can have, I had Devin read a poem every time we raise another $1,000. You can send an email out. You can send individual text messages. You can even get people's physical addresses and write letters and say, you know, this is where we're at. Like, we're really excited. And that just brings everybody into the campaign, and it makes it really fun for you guys as well.
I will just add to this, to put Audra on the spotlight for a second. Even like, I give so much to Best Buddies in all respects, right? It is my life. And Audra for the Friendship Walk fundraising was doing something where if you donated $20, the first like 10 people to donate $20 got scrunchies that she was hand tie-dyeing. And I really wanted a scrunchie because they were really cute. So I threw $20 towards her Friendship Walk fundraising. So just fun little things like that. If you like, you know, I have a button maker. Like I could do the first 50 people that donate $10 will each get a button, you know, saying you're a champion for inclusion or something like that.
Yeah. So this is an example of what my original Facebook post looked like. And it was really long, but it really got the message across. I used Facebook fundraisers to track all of my progress. And you guys are able to do that as well. You just have to let us know when the Facebook fundraiser will start and when it will end. It could go, the entire 10 weeks. It could start today and end. And that just lets Best Buddies International know where to allocate the money that is raised on Facebook. So what I did with Devin is for every level that we reached, something fun would happen. So for when we reached $1,000, whoever got us to that level, even if they only donated $1, we would do a live karaoke song of their choice. When we hit $2,000, Devin and me pied each other in the face. I didn't do this last year because a lot of our money came in at the very last minute. And so we were under $5,000, and then the last night we really reached a lot of money. But what I wanted to do was to get a real Best Buddies tattoo if I reached my goal. And so that's going to be my highest level again this year, is that I'm going to get a Best Buddies tattoo on my ankle if I reach X amount. And so what that did is it made it really fun for me and Devin, because we got to get together all the time. We got to, make these funny videos and do these funny things. And it also, incentivized people to give more, obviously. But it was also a way of us keeping track of how much money we've raised and updating people in a really fun way. All those videos resulted in even more people donating because it was so funny what we were doing, and they were so excited that we were gaining a lot of traction. So that's just one example. Obviously, using pictures is really impactful as well.
Nice.
And that's kind of what, spreads our mission. The point is for you guys to go out there and be actual champions for what we do in Best Buddies. All of your involvement varies. You guys have seen the mission play out in a bunch of different ways. If you ever need inspiration, our Instagram and our Facebook, we post stories of our one-to-one friendships. We post stories of our local leaders, and we post Mission Mondays of people who are into our event planning committee and various things. And we, use their words, and we have actual stories from them every single week, 3 times a week, talking about that impact. So feel free to use that, share that if you want to highlight one specific aspect of our program. And as always, reach out if you need any help brainstorming or would like any kind of support in that aspect. I am going to be scheduling champion one-on-ones with people as needed. If you would like support and if you would like help planning, various things like that, absolutely let me know. But if you just want to go at it all by yourself and you want a kind of hands-off approach, that's totally fine too. We want to be here for as much support as you would like. We don't have to be totally involved. I think maybe during the during the 5th week, I might just have an email chat with everyone and make sure you guys are on the right track and getting all the resources that you need. But other than that, yeah, that's our Champion of the Year training.
Nice. Sounds like a lot, but a lot of fun.
It's really fun. I'm going to be a champion again this year because the event is during my birthday week, my 24th birthday. And so I'm going to use that to kind of get people to donate more, hopefully. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, I had a quick question. So on which platform, social media platform, did you have the most success? Was it Facebook, Instagram?
So I think I had equal success on both. I got larger donations from fewer people on Instagram or on Facebook. But what I did on Instagram, when you post an Instagram story, you can see how many people viewed that story. And so what I would do is I would post on my story and I would say, I want everyone to donate like $1. Like, please just Venmo me $1. And every time someone would view my story, I would say, 200 people have seen this story. If every single one of you Venmoed me $1, I would have $200. And that really increased a lot of accountability, but I'm also, I was in college when I was doing this. And so my network is of people who didn't have jobs. friends who were paying college tuition. And so asking for really, really small amounts was really helpful. This year for the Friendship Walk, I did the same thing. And now that all of my friends and I are graduated, people stopped giving me $1. They started giving me $10, $15, $20. I think Facebook was really helpful because people are able to share it more easily. So I would just think about where your network is. So if you are on Facebook and a lot of your friends are on Facebook, and you guys engage with each other on that platform, that might be the way to go. If you, none of your friends are on Facebook, it may not be super useful for you to take the time to make a Facebook campaign. You might want to pursue email and send emails out to your friends and send them the link to your champion page. When we have a more concrete idea of what our champion pages are going to look like, I will send out a very detailed email for you guys on how to use them and how you can receive donations through them. And that will kind of explain how you guys can donate outside of like a Facebook fundraiser or that.
Okay. Hey, yeah. Molly, I have a question.
Yeah.
What's a campaign, like thinking of doing a YouTube channel for the campaign and doing videos like every other day or something, doing a 10-week campaign thing.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
I don't know a ton about YouTube. Audra probably will because she's real hip.
No, she's great. Yes.
Yeah, and I can definitely research that with you too. I know you also use Facebook a bunch too, so you can make Facebook videos as well, and that might be a little bit easier, but we can definitely talk about that in a one-on-one, Eric, and see what would be like the best course of action.
I also have an Instagram page. I haven't really posted much stuff, but
I know I tagged you the other day on it.
Okay.
Also, it's 7, so if anyone needs to go, feel free. But I'm gonna stick around and answer any questions if anyone else has any other ones.
Otherwise, I'm good.
Before you drop off, so Molly mentioned you're gonna each have a champion, or you're each gonna have a campaign page for your campaign. Nice. Those will be on the website bestbuddieschampion.org/Washington. And within the next, probably tomorrow, I'll get all of you guys set up. So just be expecting an email. You might receive an email from like bestbuddieschampion.org or something, and then I will follow up with a personal email with instructions for how to access your event website or your campaign website. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. It's a little clunky, so I will be available to help support anyone with figuring out how to access your page.
Nice.
And that's where you'll have a URL that you can post or send through email, and anybody who clicks on that link will be taken to your campaign page and they can donate directly to your campaign. Dana, go for it.
Yeah, so the Google Drive documents, are you just going to send everybody the login for that, or are you going to send us all the documents individually?
I will send you a link. So it's viewable by link. So I will just send a link out to you guys, and you can start looking at it, and all the information will be shared to you.
Okay.
And I would recommend bookmarking that link just so you have easy access once you open it the first time.
Yeah, so for me, I have a company that manages all my social media accounts. And so I want to just send her all those documents, and so that she can build all the social media posts and everything. And I just want to make sure that, and then this PowerPoint that you did tonight would be really helpful too. Are you going to put that up in Google Drive too?
Yes, that I'll put into the Champion Toolkit as well.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Anyone else?
Yeah, I use Twitter a lot. So I was wondering whether you have anything small, just 280 characters. Just to
I can write something. I totally forget that Twitter's the thing.
Yeah.
I will write something short. What's particularly helpful, Ramu, with Twitter is adding a link. So once we have your champion page set up, I think
Yeah.
linking it in your tweets will probably be the
Yeah.
best option, and then making your champion page really impactful with like a really good statement and pictures and stuff. I think that'll be a good strategy.
Okay, thank you.
Twitter, nice.
And you can
Anyone else?
LinkedIn also. A few people did that last year and just posted the link to their champion page and had some people donate through that.
I have a LinkedIn
fact-
account.
Yeah, actually, that's a good way to revive my dormant connections.
There you go, exactly.
Anyone else?
I'm good.
Thank you, Molly, for being an incredible event chair and even being a champion this year. Molly mentioned earlier, you know, we're so thankful for all of you because you all are volunteering your time and your energy and your networks to support Best Buddies and spread our mission. And Molly is volunteering too. So thank you for leading this, Molly. And I will echo what Molly said. If you have any questions, if you need support, I am always available. I will say Molly is way better at all things social media. So anything social media related, reach out to Molly. But otherwise, I am always available to help support with anything.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a
Bye.
great night.
You
Thank
too.
you.
See ya.
Hold on, let
Dude,
me